Good morning, everyone. I wanted to share a goal with you that I am setting for myself for the next 3 months minimum of reading approximately one book a week on the average related to specific categories. Now, I happen to be a very big fan of reading, but my reading typically can be very diverse. And also, sometimes if I'm reading a book, I'm talking about now not a fiction book, a novel book, but let's say a book about business. Once I get the gist of where the writer is going, I'll sometimes start skimming just to get to the main points. So what I want to do now is I want to try an experiment of averaging one book a week related to certain categories, which I'll define in a moment, and try to see if my takeaway by reading them one after the other is greater because there's this sort of cumulative effect, or less because, or lower level of comprehension and integrating it into my day to day because it sort of gets lost in just that massive amount of information that I'll be taking in. Now, just a couple of rules that I'm setting for myself. First of all, the books can be older books that I've read a long time ago and I'm rereading them, or newer books. So it could be anywhere from, Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill to, Malcolm Gladwell, Adam Grant. It could cover the whole spectrum in terms of the values, in terms of the timing, and in terms of what was going on in the world when they were written, which I'll cover as well. In addition to that, I'm not including any other things that I'm reading that aren't relating to the following categories. I'm going to be focused on business development, sales, marketing, time management, and self-improvement. What I will not be including that are books related to, let's say, religion, spirituality, um, novels, fiction, magazines, news sites, websites, blogs, things that are not specifically related to books. And the books, I'm going to try to avoid doing it on audio. I'll try almost exclusively to read them either in hardcover or ebooks. And in addition, if there are older versions and newer versions of the books, let's say upgraded editions, I'll try to read the latest edition of the books. If I'm rereading the book, because I've read it a long time ago, then I'll disclose that and tell you why I'm rereading it. Um, and I'm also going to have try to get a wider spectrum of authors with different perspectives, as opposed to the same type of style over and over again, even within different authors. Um, Finally, I'll include also the links for the books, which you're welcome to join me. You're also welcome to write in comments books you suggest I do read, books you suggest I avoid. But tell me why you think it's good, why you think it's not worth my time. I'd be curious to hear that as well. Um, One other disclaimer is that I've learned over the last many years that there are a lot of books that I can grow from. I could learn lessons from and grow by implementing those lessons and integrating them into my day to day, even if hypothetically the writer's style is not ideal or the grammar is slightly off or the editing is not perfect. I had a hard time with that initially. It took me a long time to get over that. But there were a few books that I've read that don't necessarily meet those standards, and yet I got a tremendous amount out of them. And so I've learned to not have a first of all, not to prejudge them. Don't judge a book by its cover. Easier to do with an ebook, let's say, than a hardcover. But certainly, not to judge a book by its cover or not to be dismissive of a book prematurely. So I'll try my best if I start a book to really read it through, unless it's just totally, losing me. But and then I'll share that thought with you as well. In addition to that, I would love for you to let me know your thoughts as I share comments on these books and feedback, both on LinkedIn and on YouTube. If you have other ideas, platforms you'd like me to share it with, I'm happy to do that as well. And certainly, if you're doing the same thing with different books or the same books, then let me know your thoughts on that also. One last thought, I'll be trying to update the status and reviews on books once a week, typically the beginning of the week, Mondays or so, and you can look for those there. Um, Sometimes it'll be a little later, sometimes it might be a little bit earlier, but I'm going to shoot for once a week on Mondays to upload my reviews. So and my status on how things are doing. So thanks so much and have a great day.